Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, and youth in action across the continent. Firstly, allow me to wish everyone tuning in from South Africa a happy Youth Month and welcome you to the Youth Skills Digital Forum, proudly brought to you by Digify Africa in partnership with Facebook. I am Vuyolwethu Dubese, and an absolute pleasure it is to be your host for the next 2 hours as we engage in the currency of the digital economy, inviting captains of industry and youth who are taking ownership of the endless possibilities afforded by the digital age. Our mission today is to inform you, our viewer tuning in, about the abundance of opportunities that lie in the value of digital skills and how programs like Digify Pro and Boost with Facebook have benefited youth and small businesses across the continent. We also highlight the digital skills needed and the gaps that exist to contribute to the economic resilience and recovery post the COVID-19 global pandemic. Now, it's not all just talk and case studies that we'll be sharing, but we are extending an invitation to you with the opportunity to engage with each other and with us on our Facebook Live, where we are streaming from, and in the comment section of the virtual webinar for our 50 selected youth. We are currently running 2 competitions. The first for 1,000 Rand cash vouchers to the Art of Superwomen and Art and Life and Family online store, and the second with Facebook Africa, giving away 5 $100 Facebook ad credit vouchers to 5 young people who are businesses and do have businesses on a Facebook platform. All you have to do to stand a chance at winning either of these prizes is to engage with us across our social media platforms through the course of today's program using the hashtag YDSF along with your comments. Before I hand over to our first speaker of the program, a reminder that because this is a virtual world, at times technical gremlins might creep into the system, whether it be on our network or on yours. So if you do drop on connectivity, we'd like to encourage you to hit the refresh button and join us again. Welcome to the virtual world of the new normal. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to officially welcome us and highlight our purpose for convening today, please welcome Nomonde Gongleka Siopa, who is the head of policy for the SADC region at Facebook. Nomonde, the floor is yours. So we may have lost Nomonde, but in the meantime, we do encourage you to continue engaging with us on our platforms and, of course, engaging with the hashtag YDSF. I see we have youth from across the continent. I'm seeing the Nigeria flag. I'm seeing the South Africa flag. So we really are excited to unpack the insights as well as so many opportunities that have been prevalent throughout the course of the COVID-19 global pandemic, as well as key speakers and captains of industry who are engaging with us to see what the future has in store. Now, we are going to continue with the program. Hopefully, we are able to get Nomonde back and connecting with us. But as we move swiftly along with program, we are going to welcome the CEO of the National Youth Development Agency with his keynote address, Mr. Wasim Karim, as he highlights the presidential youth intervention with a focus on digital skills. Wasim, if you are, please can welcome us into the program for today, and I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you so much, Buyol Wesu, and thank you to Digify Africa and Facebook for this really honored invitation and for giving me the opportunity to address young people today, I think on a topic that's very critical and very important for South Africa's development. Let me recognize Nomonde and all of the young people who are in attendance today, and really thank everyone for being here and being part of this conversation. I also want to take this opportunity to acknowledge the work that is already being done by Facebook and by Digify Africa on the development of digital skills for young people, but also more importantly, the support that Facebook is providing to small businesses in South Africa and across the world. I think we all know the level of catalytic impact that Facebook as a social media channel has had on the ability of small businesses to keep themselves alive during their lockdown, but also in some cases for those businesses to be able to scale and achieve massive growth even in the midst of a global pandemic. I think it's also important that we take this opportunity to recognize the work of Facebook globally in democratizing the access to information, particularly for young people. And the impact it has had on the ability of young people to be able to contribute meaningfully to active citizenry, to social activism, to social entrepreneurship, as well as participate in public policy. Earlier this year, the NYDA and the Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities started the process of review of the National Youth Policy 2030 and developing the Integrated Youth Development Strategy. Now, that work generally is very technical support work, but using social media channels like Facebook, Twitter, and WhatsApp as well, we were able to set up very cool, innovative, fresh ways of reaching young people and obtaining their views and their comments related to public policy. So it's definitely from a democratization of information, we see the impact today that we can use social media for. I think it's also important that during this occasion, we recognize that we are in Youth Month in South Africa. We celebrate 45 years since June 16th, 1976. And it's important that we use this opportunity to pay tribute to those young people who lost their lives in the fight for freedom in South Africa. The struggle of the generation for 1976 was an access to education, was a fight against the brutality of the apartheid regime. And their spirit, their blood, it runs through every generation of young people in South Africa. And we use that in times of crisis like the pandemic to guide us through the challenges that we face, but also to curb some of the other challenges that young people face, particularly youth unemployment in South Africa. I think any address is not complete without paying tribute to those who have lost their lives during the pandemic and those who continue to be on the front lines, the health workers and the frontline workers who continue to put their lives at risk to be able to keep the rest of us safe. Now, as we know, last week, the quarterly labor force survey results were released in South Africa, and they didn't necessarily paint a great picture of where we are in terms of the fight against unemployment in this country. Our estimation is that during the lockdown, as a result of the pandemic, approximately 2 million jobs were lost in South Africa, and estimations today suggest that only 1 million of those jobs have reasonably bounced back. There are, however, some reasons to be hopeful for the future. Our GDP numbers, which were released not long after the unemployment numbers, show significant faster than expected growth in our economy. Our South African Revenue Service has overcollected on taxation for the last 2 quarters, also indicating that our economic recovery maybe much faster than expected. We know that although slow to start, our vaccine rollout is now underway. And all of these are green shoots in our economy, which point to the fact that we may be in the midst of an economic recovery. Now, even before COVID-19, there was an acknowledgement from the head of government, President Cyril Ramaphosa, that the youth unemployment numbers in South Africa were at unacceptably high levels. Youth unemployment is a national crisis where 1 in 2 young people cannot reasonably find an employment opportunity. It points to a massive crisis in the structure of the South African economy, and young people continue to face massive barriers in being able to access the types of opportunities that are required to transition effectively from a learning environment into an earning environment. With that being said, the presidency brought together multiple stakeholders across the youth employment spectrum, from government institutions in the economic cluster to civil society organizations who had been doing work in this space for a long period of time, the private sector as well. And a design methodology was implemented to design the Presidential Youth Employment Intervention. Now, at its core, the Presidential Youth Employment Intervention has 5 priority pillars over the next 5 years to meaningfully reduce the youth unemployment rate in South Africa and to enable our young people to gain an economic foothold that can support the effective transitions and can lead to economic emancipation. These 5 interventions are as follows. 1, the development of a national pathway management system. Now, a national pathway management network is using the power of technology, creating multiple access points for young people to make themselves visible to employers, to build a profile for themselves, and to be connected to opportunities closest to where they live. The National Pathway Management Network is not a database. It is an aggregate of opportunities. Therefore, it is both a supply-side intervention and a demand-side intervention, in that it takes opportunities from multiple providers across the spectrum and aggregates them into one place, helping young people to be meaningfully connected with opportunities. The visibility aspect is critically important because young people are able to showcase their skills and make themselves visible to potential employers and to potential opportunities. Now, we are proud to say that the National Pathway Management Network is available for young people to access through the SAYouth.mobi platform. And we encourage all young people to sign up to SAYouth. We also expect the president on June 16th to make really exciting announcements around the National Pathway Management Network. SAYouth is also a data-free platform in that it overcomes a massive barrier that young people face around access to data and the high cost of data in South Africa. The National Pathway Management Network doesn't exist in isolation. And around it, there are supportive frameworks and policies to be able to create the kind of employment environment for young people. These are an agile skills development workforce program, which targets sectors which are already fast growing in South Africa. These sectors are global business services, digital and tech, the automotive industry, agriculture, tourism, and installation, repair, and maintenance. Using a pay-for-performance model that transfers the majority of the risk onto service providers to train young people for jobs that are actively being demanded in the economy. It uses a methodology of using non-accredited skills that are fast changing and able to be delivered quickly to train young people for jobs that are actually growing in the economy. The third is support to the township and rural economy. We know the passion many of our young entrepreneurs have in South Africa. Yet if we create a more conducive environment whereby there is greater access to skills development, access to funding, and access to market, which is probably the majority of the challenge that many young entrepreneurs face, we know that we can unlock much growth through self-employment opportunities for young people. We've already, through the 1,000 Businesses in 100 Days campaign, offered financial support to many of our young entrepreneurs, and we've seen the ability for young entrepreneurs to scale and grow even through a global pandemic. Later this year, we'll be putting together a challenge fund that will target high growth young entrepreneurs with the ability to create many jobs at scale. 4, we want to target the work experience sector. It is important to recognize that the Youth Employment Service as a private sector initiative has already achieved a considerably high number of young people placed in work experience. To date, more than 50,000 young people have been supported through private sector initiatives using the public policy of the BBBEE scorecard. And 70% of these young people, after their 12 months work experience, have often been retained by their employers at no additional cost to the fiscus. It is important that we continue to support the Youth Employment Service as a private sector-led initiative in their goal to reach 1 million work experiences. There's also additional support required by the technical vocational training sector. 500,000 young people have completed their theoretical component, but have been unable to complete their work integrated learning. Through government subsidies, we intend to place those young people so they can obtain that work integrated learning and obtain a more permanent foothold in the economy. Lastly, we see a lot of space in already work done, as we've seen around social solidarity in South Africa, for a revitalized national youth service program. A national youth service which allows young people to channel their energies and their passions into their communities and into supporting their country and their fellow countrymen and women. Has there ever been a better time for there to be a national youth service program for young South Africa, where young people can offer that service to their country, earn a wage while doing so, and also develop their skills? To date, we've already achieved many of our targets that have been set on the Presidential Youth Employment Intervention. Many colleagues will know that last year we implemented the Teacher Assistant and General Assistant Program, where 300,000 young people were placed through the SA Youth platform at 26,000 public schools across the country. Those young people have provided learner support to other learners in the basic education system, producing better basic education outcomes. They received opportunities at the national minimum wage, meaning that there was a large degree of stimulus money introduced in the local economy, supporting those small businesses in local communities. We've also supported 70,000 small-scale agricultural farmers, many of them young, and the passion for young people to pursue agriculture has been vibrant and widespread. Even in that program, we're utilizing the skills of 2,000 young agricultural graduates. And to show you how government is leveraging the power of technology, for the first time, we have a geospatial database of all small-scale agricultural farmers in South Africa. There's been support to the early childhood development sector, which is very important in underpinning the ability of young women in particular to be able to pursue employment opportunities. We intend to scale through future versions of the employment stimulus, more of which we'll hear about on June 16th, to scale the work that is already being done so we meaningfully start to bring down the unemployment rates of young people. I think there's also wider acknowledgement as we focus in my conclusion on the digital skills environment. There's a widespread acknowledgement that skills development is one of several important interventions required to address the high level of unemployment. Digital skills and jobs are consistently identified as critical to the future economy due to the significant shortage of skills in the digital and tech sector. Many of the skills needed can be learned through short modular courses that match industry requirements without requiring formal qualification. A recent study by the Harambee Youth Employment Accelerator shows that demand within the digital and tech sector in the short term, with 66,000 forecasted jobs in the short term, of which 45,000 can be filled suitably by young people. The source of this demand is twofold. If we look locally and internationally, businesses continue to expand existing operations or starting new ones in South Africa to service the rapidly growing market for digital, IT, and business services. Additionally, local tech companies and corporates cannot find suitably skilled young people to fill the approximate digital and tech-related job vacancies that occur primarily within SMME supply chain. A core component of what we're trying to do in the Presidential Youth Employment Intervention Agile Workforce Development is the implementation of a pay-for-performance model across priority growth sectors, which is relevant and fit for purpose. This model is a mechanism for government to share the financial risk of service provision between the state, service providers, and private investors in ways that optimize the desired social outcome. The current model for skills development pays training providers based on the number of participants trained and other related outputs such as mentorship and workplace training. Where the exit strategies are included as explicit criteria, only the potential viability of the proposal is assessed upfront in adjudicating, and funding for the program is not dependent on the realization of such strategies. Performance-based contracts change the structure and introduce emphasis on outcomes that lead to cost savings and future increases in tax revenues for government. Through funding outcomes, the pay-for-performance model increases the efficacy of government spending by only expanding interventions that are effective and proven to deliver the desired developmental effects. If we drill into just one sector, which is global businesses services in South Africa, South Africa lags only behind India globally in our global business services sector. And it's a sector where national plans have been translated into sector-level plans and sector-level strategies. And the work of the business process outsourcing, be PISA and the Department of Trade and Industry, in both saving these jobs in South Africa, but also growing this sector, has been massive in nature. The global business services sector is the fastest growing supply chain in South Africa. It is expected that in the next 10 years, 500,000 new jobs will be created only in global business services. The presidency, as you saw by President Ramaphosa's address on security and energy sector yesterday, is implementing the necessary reforms to meaningfully address the constraints to economic growth in South Africa and create a South Africa where young people, no matter where they come from, always have a place to go. I believe that in spite of all of the challenges that we face today, brought on by the pandemic or even before, that our future as young people is so much brighter than our past, and our best days still lie ahead of us. Thank you very much, Program Director.
Indeed, our best days still lie ahead of us. Key contributions from Waseem Karim that further reinforce the structural inequalities that young South Africans are facing, and why the call to partnerships like that between Digify Africa and Facebook are needed to further accelerate and amplify the impact that is in the gap, as well as the presidential youth intervention and how it is servicing the call to upskilling of young people and the lens through which they can contribute. That was Waseem Karim, the CEO of the National Youth Development Agency, delivering our keynote address and not shying away from the labor that is still required and to be done from the top right down to civil society. I do believe we have Nomonde back on the line. Please help me welcome Nomonde Gongleka Siopa, who is the head of policy for the SADC region at Facebook. And perhaps, Nomonde, as you deliver your welcome address, a response to the chilling statistics and the forthcoming strategies that we can expect from the presidency and how it aligns to this very critical Youth Skills Digital Forum aligning with Youth Month.
Thank you so very much, Vuyolwethu. And I think we just want to, on behalf of Facebook, just thank CEO Waseem Karim for his very insightful impartations. And as I know, as I was about to begin with my welcome address, and technology happened. And as they say in South Africa lingo, we're going to have to do what we call Sishaya, turn around and do things, the other way around. And now I'm going to just start officially with my welcome note. And here we go. Jambo, Sanibonani, good morning. My name is Nomonde Kongega, and I'm so super excited to be joining you this morning. As Violetu indicated, I am head of public policy at Facebook, responsible for the SADC region. And I would like to welcome everyone and thank you for taking the time to join us for the Youth Digital Skills Forum. Facebook cares about Africa and is invested in genuinely supporting communities across the continent, including the youth startups, SMBs, developers, creatives, and NGOs. We are constantly connecting, listening, and also learning. So, we undertake a number of expert training and events with partners across sub-Saharan Africa with the aim of equipping individuals and businesses to meet their personal, professional, and business goals. Our goal is to drive positive social and economic impact across sub-Saharan Africa by driving innovation through supporting Africa's tech entrepreneurship ecosystem, training communities and the next generation of leaders to better understand and utilize the power of digital tools for economic growth. Our mission is to give people the power to build community and bring the world closer together. Our mission in Africa is no different. We understand the importance of being local in a global world and want to have a long-term impact. Since last year, COVID-19 has affected hundreds of thousands of people across the globe and has impacted humanity and businesses around the world. The pandemic, thus far, continues to have a growing impact on how people live, work, and learn. The global economy, and more so small and medium-sized businesses, are some of the hardest hit enterprises. Accordingly, governments, private sectors, NGOs, and organizations from different industries have responded in various ways to help the spread of the virus and mitigate adverse effects on lives and the economy. At Facebook, we are looking to keep people safe and informed about the outbreak and have set up several initiatives to that end. So, why are we hosting the forum? At Facebook, we recognize and value the significance of the Youth Month in South Africa. Specifically, we are committed to the youth of South Africa and continue to invest in initiatives that benefit the youth to enhance economic recovery and digital skills development for employability. In South Africa, millions of citizens come to Facebook every day to connect with their friends, families, communities, and causes that matter to them most. Accordingly, we implement programs that can help South Africa meet its economic goals and contribute to the employability, skills development, and entrepreneurship, specifically in areas of our competencies as Facebook. Now, a soon-to-be-published research report by Genesis Analytics commissioned by us at Facebook on how social media is powering small businesses in Africa. Projections released by the United Nations in 2019, the African baby boom is set to double the population of sub-Saharan Africa by 2050. The report highlights the energy of the youth that presents a historic opportunity to improve economy-wide productivity if young people are economically active. The report posits that while Africa's youth population continues to grow, job creation remains a huge challenge, and that with traditional jobs being especially scarce for young people, there is a heightened need for tools that will assist young people to find jobs or to create economic opportunities for themselves. Further, the report highlights that digitally enabled small businesses can provide gainful economic opportunities to South Africa's young people. It found that young business owners tend to use social media and messaging platforms more intensively. While on average, 7 in 10 surveyed small businesses report using the Facebook apps. For surveyed small businesses under the age of 30, this rises to 8 in 10. Furthermore, surveyed small businesses that use the Facebook apps also more frequently report that they are owned by managers under the age of 30. The average business owner age for surveyed small businesses that use the Facebook app is 36, compared to 41 for surveyed small businesses that do not use the apps at all. Now, with little formal employment available, young people in Africa face more pressure to become entrepreneurs. However, they typically face the challenges of limited finance, insufficient skills, and aversion to entrepreneurial risks, often made worse by a business environment that is not tailored to promoting startups. Since digital solutions lower the barriers to entry, they offer particular benefits to young entrepreneurs. Surveyed SMBs with owners younger than 30 are concentrated in industries with low barriers to entry, such as the resale of goods, personal services, and art and entertainment. Also, in terms of youth employment, across the 8 sample countries, South Africa included, surveyed SMBs that use the Facebook app report a larger proportion of staff under the age 30. As Facebook, we help equip the youth with digital skills to advance their careers and contribute to the digital economy. COVID-19 has accelerated digital transformation in most sectors of the economy. Therefore, it has become increasingly important for young people to leverage on the digital transformation to not only advance their careers, but also contribute to the digital economy for economic recovery and growth. We believe in the power of African youth to help drive future economies across the continent. Digital industries can be an important contributor to local economies, and we are invested in doing what we can to help build a pipeline of talent to support these industries for future growth. This is why, in partnership with Digital Africa, we have implemented the Digify Pro program in South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, graduating 100% of all participants, with over 70% finding employment in agencies and small businesses, while others opting to start their own entrepreneurial ventures. This is a 2-month bootcamp that prepares aspiring digital marketers for jobs in the industry. The bootcamp teaches the youth about the full spectrum of digital marketing and gives them exposure to the industry via weekly live briefs with agencies or brand partners. You will hear more about this during the forum. We support small businesses to leverage digital marketing to achieve their business goals. Now, as Facebook, we know and understand that small businesses are the actual backbone of the economy, and that digital platforms can be a powerful tool to help small businesses reach their business goals. We also provide programs to equip small businesses with the social media skills they need for their businesses. In partnership with Digify Africa, we implement the Boost with Facebook program in 11 countries across Africa, which offers small business owners an opportunity to learn more about how digital tools can be used as a tool for business growth while making meaningful connections with potential consumers. Whether it's setting up a Facebook page, finding their audience online, or creating engaging content, these free workshops have helped more than 170,000 entrepreneurs develop their social media skills and unlock new opportunities for growth across Africa since 2018. We also support some women-owned businesses through the She Means Business program. Now, in partnership with Siafunda Community Technology Centers, we have trained more than 10,000 women business owners on digital skills. And this year, we have added a business resilience component to help women business owners adapt and recover from the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. The program also runs in Nigeria, Senegal, and will soon be launched in Kenya. The Digital Youth Skills Forum, in partnership with Digify Africa, seeks to inspire, enhance learning, and showcase success stories of young people who have found success in leveraging digital tools for both business and employment. And I am super excited and glad that we are joined by an exciting list of speakers, panelists, including young people who have found success in leveraging digital platforms to create economic opportunities for themselves and contribute to the digital economy. Small businesses, creative, and our alumni from the Digify Pro program. During the forum, you will also hear from the Interactive Advertising Bureau, IAB, whose head of Educational Council, Mr. Joey Kuvutle, MD of Hello Computers, will also share their insights on the digital skills gap. Now, I'd like to thank you all for joining us this morning, and I would like to now hand over to Aviwe Enkosi Diabulela Kyaleboga.
Enkosi kakhulu Nomonde, and certainly izinto uzijikile, and excellent net positive opportunity to really showcase this X-ray of democratizing access to the opportunity of a tool like Facebook to accelerate digital transformation, to enhance and advance entrepreneurship for small businesses. A huge thank you to you, Nomonde, for ushering us so beautifully into the Youth Skills Digital Forum and establishing the framework of why, what partnerships and programs exist for small businesses, for entrepreneurs, for creatives, and what is next as well. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Nomonde Konxeka Siyopa, the head of policy for the SADC region at Facebook. I'm told we do have our 50 selected young people joining us in our special webinar, so a warm welcome to you. And now, before we shift gears into our next talk, where you will have an opportunity to what I hope will be many of your questions answered on the digital skills gap in the country, I do have the pleasure of announcing our very first winner of the 1,000 Rand Art of Superwoman voucher, John Zulu. A huge congratulations to you, John, and I hope that you enjoy your prize. And please remain online as our team will be in touch with you towards the end of the program. And now to address us with the insights recently conducted by IAB South Africa to highlight the digital skills needed, as well as the gaps that exist to contribute to the current and post-COVID-19 economy, please welcome to our digital stage Joey Kuvutlu, the MD of Hello Computer and the head of the Educational Council at IAB South Africa. Joey, over to you.
Thank you very much, Wielwetu. Thank you for the intro. Thank you to yourself and Nomonde for the invite to join you today and to be part of this conversation, which personally for me is very, very close to my heart. Skills development and specifically skills development within the digital space. I've got a presentation that I'd like to share, so I'm going to try and set that up first, and hopefully technology plays nicely with us when I do this. Let's see how it goes. Can everybody see my screen? Vuyolwethu, is my screen coming across? Okay.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Amazing. Cool. Thank you very much, guys. As I said, it's a great opportunity for me to be here to share these findings with you. You know, technology advancements are enabling greater capabilities and opportunities in the ever-growing digital customer universe. We're in a space right now where there are more platforms and more communities where we can reach more people. The marketing technology landscape continues to grow, with over 8,000 tools and systems that people can utilize to do any marketing activities. When the marketing technology landscape was first done, I think about 8 years ago, there were a few hundred tools that you could utilize to do marketing technology work. Now there's over 8,000. We have access to more data than we've ever had before, which allows us to improve the effectiveness of work. The same data is used to improve the customer experience by allowing us to understand the customer context and connecting various platforms. All of this with the ultimate aim of bringing value for both businesses and customers within the marketing space. The digital opportunity, however, is an opportunity only to the extent or the limit of our ability to exploit the digital tools that we have at our disposal. And this relates directly to the digital skills that we have within our country and within our industry. So these tools, 8,000 of them across platforms, across technologies, are great, but if we don't have the skills to utilize them, they really mean nothing to us. As I speak to you today, I wear two hats. One as the managing director of Hello Computer, a digital agency specializing in delivering marketing technology solutions for brands. And the second as the lead of the IAB's Education Council. As the head of Hello Computer, my personal experience has been one of scarcity when it comes to digital skills. You know, over the past 4 years, whenever we've had to hire people, it's always been a challenge. And I think that the challenge is primarily caused by the fact that the digital skills are required both on the client side and on the agency side. It's unlike in traditional advertising where, you know, you're not necessarily going to have copywriters and art directors sitting on the client side. They only sit on the agency side. But when it comes to digital skills, the only way to really unpack the opportunities of digital is that you have to have skills mirrored on both sides. You know, so if we're talking about data, client has to have a data champion as well as on the agency side, because if the client doesn't have a data champion, the agency can't essentially connect to the data that the client has. So because the skills are required on both sides of the spectrum, this is one of the main reasons, in my view, that we have a shortage. And this is a view that's shared by both other members of the council that I sit on with on the Education Council, but also just in the broader advertising industry at large. Further to this, and this is something that has been spoken about today, Wasim touched on this and Amanda touched on this as well, is the fact that it's mind-boggling to me that we've got a skills shortage in digital in a space, in a time and in the country where our youth unemployment is as high as it is. So for me, the reason I'm passionate about this is because on the one side, this is what I do as a profession, but on the other side, I'm also passionate about the country that I live in. And therefore, if we're having a skills gap on the one side and within the profession that I'm in, but at the same time, we've got this massive system. It is the reason why I am engaged in the space of trying to understand what the problems are and how we can bridge these gaps. So as the IAB, in trying to really understand what was going on, we set about doing the skills survey first, just so that we can understand what the actual issues were. And the objective for us was that, you know, once we understood where the gaps were, it would allow us to be able to talk to industry, because the IAB is an organization where any company any marketing company rather that is operates within a digital space, most of them are part of the IAB. So we're able to canvas them for opinions and canvas them to understand what's happening in their businesses. So it allows us to have a very strong view of what do companies that require digital skills, what do they need and what are they struggling with? So the skills survey really was to firstly understand what those requirements were, and then to take those real-time requirements and then to share them, for instance, with educational institutions, such as Digify, and to partner with them in order to assist them in developing their curricula. Also to provide advertising and communication industry with the data and insights for them to fund appropriate skills. We think it's important that the agencies that require these skills are part of the solutioning. So they need to be taking their training budgets and putting their training budgets to institutions like Digify or any other institutions that are training young people, and support them in increasing the skills that we require. It is our responsibility to solve this problem. And then finally, also the skill survey, and other work that we're doing from an IAB perspective allows us to participate in policy conversations and, for instance, interacting with the likes of Wasim and sharing ideas and in terms of getting as to where we need to get to. So that is the background around the skills survey. And I certainly hope that there will be some insights here that you find valuable, that you can use almost immediately within your activities right now. So the IAB and Red Yellow partnered to do this survey together, and we'll jump straight into it. We had 143 respondents to our survey, which for us was great, and essentially this represents a large number and representation from the broader advertising and digital industry. What was most encouraging about the respondents was that we almost had an equal feedback from your executive level, your management level, and your senior level. And what's good about that is that, from an executive level, their responses will give us a view of the long-term plan that the agency has. For instance, your management level would give us feedback on what their midterm requirements are, and then your senior people in the business will most likely give you feedback on what is required right now. And it's very important for us to understand the 3-time horizons, because we need to understand what do we need to be preparing for right now, but at the same time, looking to the future, what skills do we anticipate? Because we don't want to be training people for future skills in the future. We want to be training them right now, so by the time that we need them, those skills are available. 31% of our respondents came from medium-sized agencies, 26 from small firms, and then there's almost an equal split of the remaining 43% of respondents in micro or large firms, is where those respondents came from. Sorry, guys, I just want to do something here. There we go. Cool. So respondents were asked whether they found the need to train new employees in digital skills. And a resounding 83% of the respondents said that they had to offer digital marketing and advertising training to new employees, regardless of their function within the firm or their experience. And that was quite illuminating. Specifically, the portion that says regardless of their function within a firm or their experience. So regardless of function means that basic digital competence and acumen is now a baseline requirement for any marketing communication professional. We no longer live in a world where you've got digital specialists and then you've got your traditional advertisers. If you're in the marketing communication space, you need to have a baseline understanding of all things digital. It's not something that's lit for the specialists, because now everybody does digital marketing. And that's where it says, so regardless of their experience, also very interesting, because there's an acknowledgement that digital skills training is lifelong training. It's not a case of you study it once and then you are now qualified or you're able to function within the digital space. The digital landscape is forever expanding. And like I said earlier on, a few years ago when they did the landscape study, there were a few hundred tools and platforms to utilize. Now we're in a space where there's over 8,000. So things change constantly. And I'm sure Nomonde could speak to the fact that even Facebook is forever evolving to improve in terms of the services that they provide to both the consumers and to agencies that utilize them. So year on year, you need to improve your skills. We also asked respondents to differentiate on whether training was required for hard skills or soft skills, with 55% of respondents saying that they needed both. Hard skills referred to specific things that were teachable and measurable, such as the ability to use a specific program. And then soft skills referred to the less tangible and harder to quantify skills, such as teamwork, listening and communication, and etiquette. And we'll see this element of soft skills coming up a little bit later as an important element, specifically in the remote working world that we're now living in. The training of new employees. So essentially, this was the top 3 items that were essentially listed of the training that agencies typically do when new employees enter their businesses. The one was platform-specific certification and training. That was the most popular form of in-house training to employees, and that is the like of your Facebook Blueprint and other courses of a similar nature. The second one that agencies do was social media content training, and this was a range of activities within the space, which included, language structure of how to prepare a creative work within the social media space, training people on how to track and to boost content on various social platforms, as well as the ability for them to use various content management system platforms. The last item that was quite popular in terms of training that employees did was training in paid media advertising basics. Very, very important, and we experienced this ourselves, is that as a individual that wants to call or describe themselves as a competent individual, you need to understand how paid media works. You need to understand the jargon. You need to understand the basics of what is a performing campaign or a campaign that is not performing, because these are the conversations that you're going to be engaging on a regular basis. We'll then move on to the actual skills gap. In this section, respondents were given a finite list of skills and asked to identify A, the importance of each of the digital skills in their organization, and B, their satisfaction with the current presence of that skill. So it's saying, cool, this is very, very important, but tell us, if it's important, to what degree are you happy that it's been performed well? And essentially the skills that they need versus the skills that they have. Respondents were rated the importance and satisfaction of each skill on a 5-point scale, with one being strongly disagree and 5 being strongly agree. So here I'm just going to highlight some of the items that were pointed out by people within industry, and I think that if anything, this is probably one of the most important insight and actually represents the skills gap. So the biggest skills gaps that was identified was in data analytics. The ability to understand the data that these various platforms are throwing back at you once you utilize these platforms. And I believe this to be the case due to the growing need to decrease wastage and to understand the effectiveness of the work and to prove the ROI of the work that we do. On the one hand, well, not on the one hand, what's happening right now is that marketing managers, their budgets are limited. So with their budgets being limited, they're being incredibly critical about where they spend their money. So the advantage of digital is that we're on a granular level. But for the longest time, if I'm being honest, the advertising industry has not actually been doing this as well as they can. But now marketers are demanding it, and they're demanding to know what is happening with the money that I'm spending. Data analytics, or the ability to understand the data that you're seeing, allows agencies to firstly report on the effectiveness of campaigns, but also allows them to ensure that they decrease wastage. And how you decrease wastage is by if you understand the data that you're looking at, you're then able to use your budgets more effectively, to channel your spend to the right audiences, to increase the rate of conversion and the like, and then in the end, to then show your clients the return on investment that actually impacted the work that you're doing. So data analytics was the number one item that was identified. The second one was marketing automation. Again, there are tons of tools out there that allow us to automate any tasks that are repetitive. An example of that is banner creation. If you're creating banner suites that are either going to exist or any other platform. With the pressure on all businesses and marketing budgets being limited, agencies are receiving the same amount of budget but are expected to deliver more work. So before the digital landscape was allowed all the opportunities, you're doing TV, you're doing radio, you're doing print. Now you've got multiple digital platforms and they keep growing, but the budgets aren't growing in line with the growing platforms. So the only way to be able to deliver the increasing requirements is to be able to leverage on all the automation that is available. So marketing automation tools become incredibly important from an agency perspective, because it allows you to automate the stuff that does not require a warm body or require talent, so that the budget that's provided to you by a client, you can invest in the human talent to do the creative work and the thinking work. The last one I'm going to talk about today is user experience. User experience was highlighted as a critical skill that's required within the space. I would advise you to look up a study that was done by Accenture that's called The Business of Experience. And the basic premise of the findings of the study is that all businesses are digital businesses now. And COVID has certainly cemented this reality. You can be a plumber and your business is a digital business. And just to share an experience with you is that I'm currently in the process of trying to replace my electric geysers with gas geysers. But the company that I have now chosen to actually do the job for me was a company that I could find easily online. It was also the company that, even though they're a plumbing company, they had video tutorials on their site on helping me make the decision on what kind of gas geyser I needed. And then thirdly, they had a chatbot because what happened is I was doing the research at night, once the kids had gone to sleep and all that kind of stuff. So they had a chatbot that I was talking to, and it was literally asking me questions. How big is your house? How many people are in the house? And essentially by asking me all those questions, the chatbot was able to automate a quote that came back to me. I'm going to go with those guys because at 8 o'clock at night, when I had time to do the research, they use technology to be there for me. During 9 to 5, I don't have the luxury of that. I've got a day job. I'm here with you guys. So even though they're a plumbing company, they are a digital business. And now they're going to get my business because they were there for me when I felt like I wanted to engage with them, not between 9 and 5 when their offices were open. And that's the real experience. So the fact that agencies identified customer experience as an important skill is comforting, because agencies are clearly recognizing the fact that designing seamless customer experiences for brands is very, very important. And again, I can't stress enough that every single business is a digital business, and that what that translates to for you, those of you that are studying digital skills and the like, is the fact that your market for clients has now widened. It's no longer just big brands. It's any and every business is a digital business, which means that you can sell your services or your skills to a lot more people. I also wanted to touch on I think it was item number 5. Let me see. It was item number 4. So digital audio marketing was also a skill that agencies are looking at right now. And the reason why that's happening is because there is an audio revolution that's currently happening right now. The growth of platforms such as Spotify, voice assistants such as Siri, Google Assistant, and Amazon Alexa. You know, you've got to set up your client's marketing in such a manner that it can act with voice. So when I use my voice assistants, will the search functionality on the website that you're building be able to pick up that search term? For instance, podcasts are growing because, again, people want to access content when they want to access content. We all like to listen to radio, but we're not necessarily sitting in the car all the time. So it's the reason why radio stations now podcast all of their shows. So that's another space that I think has got great opportunity. If you understand how podcasts work, if you can do podcasts for your clients, if you can record them, market them for your clients, I think that's a space that's going to grow quite tremendously. Cool. Yeah, and those are the items that I wanted to highlight that I thought were quite interesting. In order of importance, if we list the stuff that individuals were rating in terms of the importance of the skill within the business, digital marketing strategy was the first one, and then social media marketing, and then data analytics. Digital marketing strategy for me makes sense that it's the first one because the digital landscape is complex. What you need to be able to do is to help your clients simplify the complexity. You need to tell them what they need to do. So increasing your skills in terms of understanding digital marketing strategy will take you a long way, specifically if you want to become an entrepreneur and assist your clients grow their brands. Employees' top priorities, and essentially here we're asking them to rate what were their top priorities for 2021 and 2022. And they listed their top 4 priorities being increasing sales, improving innovation, and gaining market share and delivering on new offerings. So this was agency saying that we need to be good at these skills so that we can deliver innovation and gain market share for our clients. The respondents are clear that many of the skills needed in the future are strongly rooted to digital transformation and the use of data to drive business decisions. Nearly a third of all respondents identified big data and data analytics as the top digital marketing and advertising skill for the future, followed by the importance of automation, machine learning, and AI in the context of content development. COVID-19 has allowed many organizations to discover the benefits of remote working and flexible work schedules. 89% of respondents said that their organizations were planning to continue operating remotely in the future. So this remote working really brought to the surface the need for the soft skills. And skills that were identified were for individuals to be able to effectively self-manage. Not only your time and deliverables, but also to self-motivate themselves. These were identified as the #1 skills for remote working. If you're going to go into an agency, you can no longer be just dependent on your traffic manager to make sure you do what you're doing. You have to be self-driven. So if you want to go into an agency, understand that being disciplined and being organized, being able to self-manage yourself is going to be a very, very important skill. Interpersonal skills was the next one. The ability to communicate effectively with a remote team, developing trust and accountability was noted as the most important, one of the most important skills in the remote working world. When we're in the office, it was easier to meet at the table over coffee, over lunch, and to get to know each other, to learn from each other and to develop relationships. In a remote working world, one has to make more effort to ensure that they build these relationships. Given that knowledge sharing is affected by remote working, new employees need to ensure that they are motivated to upskill and actively engage for them to learn moving forward. This goes back to that idea of within the digital space, constant learning is important. And we have the ability to go online to learn most things we want to learn. So if you want to succeed, if you want to grow your skills, don't wait for anybody else to train you. Get online and learn the things that you want to learn and be a more effective individual for your clients or within the organization within which you're working in. Finally, just some key takeouts with regards to the survey. The first one is that digital acumen is important regardless of role. It doesn't matter whether you are a copywriter, whether you're a designer, whether you're a strategist. You need to understand the basics of digital. Career-long learning is critically important within this space. So that's one thing that you should not think that now that you've done it, you're okay with it. Keep learning, keep refreshing your skills. Digital is a very complex landscape, and it's only getting more complex as more tools come into play. So strategy is key for simplifying this complexity. If you are strategically inclined, I would advise you to look into studying further within the digital strategy space. Data, AI, and machine learning are shifting from being buzzwords to being business imperatives. So yeah, these aren't just fancy words anymore. If your business is not utilizing data, some sort of AI or machine learning to automate and make yourself more efficient, you will struggle in the current economy. And most of these things are there, and most of these tools you can utilize them. And yeah, that is the summary of the digital skills survey. It is available at the IABSA to download and to look at further. What I wanted to end off with was, understanding that we may have some entrepreneurs on the call, is the fact that the one thing that COVID has done is that it's really, for me, start to democratize the playing field within the advertising space. Hello Computer, we're a big agency. We're part of the fourth largest global communications group in the world. And in previous years, only the big agencies got specific kinds of work from brands. With marketers being pressured and being under pressure from a budget perspective, they are now starting to give work to smaller agencies. And as a result, you are able to start agencies and to fight with the biggest and the best of them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Joey. Indeed, to echo your sentiments that all businesses are digital businesses, which means that all its employees will need to acquire these digital skills to grow and scale the business or scale their own ventures and evolve with your business acumen and learning along the way. That is the culture of technology. Some hard-hitting data and research highlighted on the impact of the global pandemic and the advantage of digital, and also the market in the skills gap, where of course opportunities lie to transform livelihoods as well as economies, as well as how industry agnostic and relevant these digital skills are, like data and analytics, copywriting, user experience, and the tools and technologies like automation are important for small to large businesses to incrementally innovate as well as disrupt. A huge thank you to Joey Kuvutlu, the MD of Hello Computer and the head of the Educational Council at IAB South Africa, for sharing such critical insights. We are enjoying your comments and accompanying with our hashtag YDSF from Sam Ngosa on our Facebook Live, saying that great initiatives that are being shared, and particularly excited about the programs and deliberate programs that Facebook has around women economic empowerment. Great works indeed. Well, thank you so much to you, Sam, and a lot of you who are also engaging with us across Facebook, across Twitter. Please do keep your engagements coming, and should time permit, I'll definitely get an opportunity to share that with you. We're now going to give away our second 1,000 Rand voucher from Art of Superwoman, and that goes to Ese to Setue Ngiyana. A hearty congratulations to you, and a reminder to please stay online so that our team can be in touch with you. A reminder that 5 of our vouchers from Facebook Africa are being given away 5 $100 credit vouchers to 5 young people who have businesses on a Facebook platform. So do introduce your business to us in the comment section and link your Facebook page, of course, remembering to accompany the hashtag YDSF. Coming up on the Youth Skills Digital Forum is a Youth Voices panel discussion moderated by Kakaza Muhare, the Chief Operating Officer at Digify Africa, which will offer us a lens into the practical dynamics and brilliant stories from bold youth in digital action. Kakaza, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Vuyo. I really am excited to be having my conversation today with 3 phenomenal women who are just doing the most when it comes to using digital tools to build sustainable livelihoods. I'm hoping to get the most out of this conversation, so I'm going to jump straight into it. Let's start with Aviwe. Aviwe, please can you introduce yourself and tell us just a bit about how you got into the digital space?
Thank you so much, Kakaza. It's so awesome to be here. Yeah, my name is Aviwe Komsana, and at the current moment, I'm working obviously as a young digital marketer. And really, this is not how my journey started. I actually started, I studied film and television production. So that was the space where I started. And as I got out of varsity and I was kind of like looking for jobs, I found that it was actually really hard to find a job in the industry that I had studied for. So after a couple of years of just doing some freelance work and not really finding anything permanent, I actually came to the conclusion that I have to pivot, and learn something new in order to kind of like change my career path. And that's actually when I came into contact with Digify Africa's programs. At the time it was Train the Trainer, but I was actually interested in Digify Pro, which then I got the opportunity to be a part of in 2019. So yeah, I kind of joined the program, which is the Digital Bootcamp, for 10 weeks, and it was amazing. I was like, how was I not aware of like the digital marketing space before this? I think I was like living under a rock or something. So yeah, after the 10 weeks, I learned a lot, from, I don't know, SEO to copywriting to UX design. And I was really I found that it was such a beautiful kind of like change in terms of like my career, not because it's something completely different from what I've studied, but I actually saw the opportunity of kind of merging what I studied, which is like content creation, to digital marketing. So it really made me excited to actually, grow my portfolio and grow my skill set. And so, yeah, that's kind of how I got into digital marketing. Yeah, thanks, Kakaza.
It's always great to connect with some amazing alumni. So thank you for joining us. Akona, you are doing the most when it comes to putting dreads on the map. You are a micro influencer on Instagram. Please, can you tell us just a bit about that journey? How did that come about and how's it going?
Thank you so much, Karaza. So my journey first started as a place to document my modeling career. And then from there, I started creating content about my beautiful dreadlocks that I've been growing for 18 years. And then I started seeing the most growth when I started producing video content. And then that's when my engagement rate started growing. I started getting a lot of following. And then I also get a lot of direct messages from people with dreadlocks and those who want to start dreadlocks. And that's how I found my niche. So it was easier for me when I started my business because I already had a target audience. And I've just been blown away by the support that I have received on this platform. Thank you.
Our third guest is a stylist who also has a online clothing store. Now, we did see COVID-19, forcing a lot of brick and mortar businesses to move to the online space. So I'm quite interested, Lebohang, in the journey as well, from being a stylist to then opening up the online store. What sort of pushed you in that direction and how's that been going?
Thank you, Q. I'm Lebohang from Halle Ridley. So what pushed me to the direction of Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere is that I firstly would start from obviously word of mouth, the people that I know, people that they know, and so forth. And of course, with WhatsApp, also then pushed it to WhatsApp. And with the with the with the with the insight that I was getting from WhatsApp and the people that are following me on my personal WhatsApp is that actually there is people that are looking for my services out there, and that's what made me actually expand my business to the bigger market of your social media. And so far for me, I think at the beginning, it was not easy because you will see people that have already made it on social media and the followings are growing daily. And that's what you get into, and that's what you want to push yourself to from the beginning. And it hasn't been easy at all. But yes, I've been pushing, and every day we keep pushing.
I am so glad that you kept pushing because, I mean, when the challenges come, it's very easy for you just to be like, oh, maybe this isn't the thing, you know? But while I'm still with you, I'm quite interested in the actual logistics of now understanding the online store. And I could imagine that there are some young people who have joined us today who might be looking into it, right? So what do you need to have in place in order for you to be able to allow your customers to transact safely, but also to know that the product is actually going to get to the buyer at the end of the day?
So I think the main and the most challenging thing is exactly what you've asked now, is the trust between the buyer and the seller. And with everything that has happened, I think a lot of people have used that platform as a playground. So it has been difficult for us to actually say to the client that we are different, we will deliver. So basically it's just a trust relationship between the client and you, and making sure that you have reviews and you have people that can back up your services, and you also post feedback from your happy clients, and you also make sure that your payment platforms are secure. You make sure that your delivery services is reliable, and with that, I think it also helps your clients to also come back to the actual platform and rate your page or rate your services with a plus, or I don't know, give other people that that security, because it's really not, it's not easy. Like, it's just a trust issue that I've been challenged with, and totally understand where people are coming from, but obviously making sure that your system is security safe, making sure that your delivery services are punctual, making sure that your delivery services are trustworthy. It's people that you can connect with. It doesn't take long for people to get their stuff. Then it just creates that relationship with your clients.
Now, I'm also quite interested for all of the entrepreneurs that we have in the room, just to hear a bit about the challenges that they're facing and also how you're overcoming those. So I do welcome you to please join us on the Facebook chats in the comment section there, and just let us know a bit about your experience as the conversation goes along. Aviwe, I'm coming back to you now. So this digital transformation that we see is definitely part of fourth industrial revolution that we hear so much about, you know, and having worked in the industry for a few years now, what would you say when it comes to digital are like the key skills that young people, every young person needs to have really to be able to thrive and build sustainable livelihoods?
Kalaza, that's a very good question. But I think also to kind of point out just specific skills is it would be kind of like putting it in a box. So the reason I'm saying that is because the digital marketing space is so big. There's so much that you can do, you know, with obviously your strengths and your weaknesses and where you feel like you most, you know, belong and where you can, you know, contribute. So for example, like there's so many roles that you can, job roles that you can have in digital marketing, such as copywriting, SEO, strategy, search marketing, data analytics, etc., etc. So with all of that being said, I think the one thing for, let me speak to someone maybe who hasn't even started on their journey to building their career in digital marketing. The first thing is, honestly, you need to learn, okay? And, you know, I've got some good news because, you know, Facebook and Google, you know, they're all about helping people learn and grow in their digital skills. So, I mean, even if you're sitting here right now and you're watching this and you've never, you know, studied or learned anything with digital marketing, a good place to start would be Facebook Blueprint. So it's a website, it's called facebookblueprint.com. And basically these are different courses in digital marketing, okay? And there's from beginner to advanced. So if you've never seen anything to do with digital marketing, that would be a great place to start. And especially there's a course called like a digital marketing associate course. And you know, the good news is that the course is free. So, I mean, these are things that we also want to know. These are things that we want to hear, because whenever we think of a course, we're like, oh, I have to pay gang money, but that course is free. The only thing that you would have to pay for is the exam, because after that, obviously you want to be certified. So if you can go to a business, maybe you want to run, you know, a business online presence, you can go to them and be like, look, I'm Facebook certified, and you know, these are my skills that I've learned, and I can definitely help your business. So that would be helpful, right? And then a second kind of resource I would also recommend is Google. Right, Google also has free courses that they provide to people who haven't done digital marketing, and even those who are advanced. So even up to like agencies and the most advanced, you know, media specialists and all of that, they go onto Facebook Blueprint and Google. So with Google, it's learndigital.withgoogle.com, and they have a marketing course that they call the fundamentals of digital marketing. So that would also be a really great place to get started, to also figure out how, you know, that Google platform works and search marketing and all of that. And then I think the third thing that I would say is practice. So you can learn, you know, and learn, but if you are not executing, if you're not practicing, trust me, you will forget. So if you have like your own business, you know, or maybe a friend or a family member, or even, you know, a business around where you stay, you can actually, whatever it is that you're learning, you can go and you know, approach these people and be like, hey, I'd like to help you with your online presence. I'd like to help you with, you know, how you present your brand, you know, on Instagram, on Facebook, you know, yeah, this is what I can do for you. So practice. And like Joey said, and I loved what he said, and I think this is the one thing you will forever hear from any digital marketer ever, is that you need to continue learning. Literally, there's always something happening. There's always new things that are introduced, you know, with automation and machine learning and all of that stuff. So make sure that every year, you know, you can do this course now, but make sure again next year that you go back and see what has changed, what's new, you know, what can you then, offer to people that wasn't there last year. You know, these are the things that will also set you apart. So constant learning and also just executing, I think is a really good way to kind of build yourself in this industry.
Yeah, and I think that's the exciting thing about the industry is that there are all these platforms that are trying to make like the education really accessible, you know. So I know that even us at Digify Africa, we've just recently launched a WhatsApp bot that helps you in like learning the basic skills of digital marketing. So please do go and check that out. And really echoing, I think what Joey said, don't wait for someone to come and train you, but see what it is that you can do for yourself. So do remember to go through to the IAB website to go and check out that digital skills gap research and see how you can fill the gap, really. Now, when it comes to social media, and Akona, you have definitely seen this, it is an amazing tool for you to be able to build a community with your Lock Nation community that you've been able to build. What have been some of your key lessons that you have learned over the years just around building community online?
I think one of the key lessons was communication, and I also get a sense of how my community perceives my brand and some of the things that I can improve and some of the products that I can also add. So, and everyone's opinion is welcomed and wanted as well, because this brand is not just about me, but about everyone in the Lock Nation.
So that authentic communication and sort of building relationships. Now, it's one thing for you to have a community of people, but really, Lebohang, every business is really looking for a loyal customer base that's actually going to put like their support, you know, their money behind that. How did you make that happen? You know, how did you move from having just a community to having that loyal customer base that is willing to support you with their money? Because that's really what matters.
Yes, that's true indeed. So how I've managed to move my brand from a broader community or everyone to just is that with the relationship that you build over the years, right, with your clients, is that I started by just selling, right? So what I do is just resell, sell this and that, sell basically everything, right? And then when you build a relationship with your clients, then you end up having your loyal clients that will come to you on a monthly basis, which is what every business needs. So then that's how I moved from just being a reseller or just selling to a personal stylist, because that's what I now call myself, and that's what now my brand is all about. I'm a personal stylist, I'm a personal shopper. So basically is that my clients would come to me on a one-on-one, be like, oh, really love this bag, where did you get it from? And then you communicate, okay, I got it from here, and you know, and then, or while you're selling, it's like, oh my goodness, I love this bag, but now I'm actually going to an all white, you know, you communicate and you engage with them, then you get like more feedback and more, how can I put it, more juice, and then you use that to actually make those people to be your regular clients. So if you are selling bags, don't just sell the bag, but sell the bag and your services. So if you're selling the bag, then tell the person that actually this bag is nice. It would go with a dress like this. But if you're not a stylist as well, but now I'm talking on my personal journey, right? So that's what I would do. And then now end up having that relationship with my clients. And then now next month, the person would come and be like, actually, I now need your help with not what you are selling, but I need your help for you to help me. I'm going to a wedding. I want something like this, something like that. And then now you actually say, oh, okay, I can do this. So basically exactly what the ladies just said is you keep on learning and do not limit yourself. So do not limit your brand, do not limit your business, do not limit yourself. I think that's how I got to have like loyal customers that help me also grow my business for me to be a personal shopper and a personal stylist.
Girl, I love the idea of me having a personal stylist, so I definitely am going to be hollering at you soon after this. So we've got a question question in the chat box here, and it says, "Hello, I run a nail business, and my challenge has always been delivering content to my customers and potential customers. How do I stay consistent in delivering content? Because I end up not having anything to post on the socials. I find myself losing my clients' attention and loyalty." Lebohang, do you have anything to that?
So this is also something that I've learned last year at Boost my business, is that stay constant. And with me saying stay constant, I know it's very difficult for us small businesses to create content. But what I've learned over the years is that create content on a daily. So even if it's not something that you're going to use immediately, or even if it's something that you're not going to use tomorrow, but just keep on creating content. Just create it, keep it on your phone, keep it on your laptop, make sure that it's always there. And trust me, immediately on Monday, or rather on a Friday, you try and plan your posts for the weekend, right? Because we are a small business, so we're going to start small. I know with larger businesses, some take it to a month, but with us, we'll say, okay, just create content the whole week, creating your own content. Try creating a post for the weekend, right? And then obviously, because as an entrepreneur and as a young person, as a business, you get creative, so you might just change the one that you wanted to post on a Saturday, end up posting it on a Sunday, and vice versa. But just make sure that you always have content on your phone, on your laptop, that you have to post, so that you don't run out and then your content on your pages end up being dry.
Yeah, I think it definitely speaks to the importance of just like planning the content, and to really think strategically about what it is that you want to post and when. Aviwe, would you like to add more onto that?
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with what Lebo is saying. And I think also what would also be helpful is to actually have like a day that you set aside to create content for more than one day. So they call it like batch like creation. So as you're gonna have Monday to Sunday, maybe you post 3 times a week, maybe you post every day. I don't know the frequency of how much you post, but getting a day where you really just know, okay, cool, this is what I want to do for the week. And not only that, but I'm dedicating this day to actually create content. Maybe you'll only be able to create for 3 days instead of 6 days, right? But at least when you do it in one day, it also helps with the burnout, because when you try to create each and every single day, you get to that point where you're like frustrated and like you burn out. It becomes like really a lot. So what Lebo was saying, 100%, make sure you schedule, whatever it is that you want to post for the week. And then also make sure that as you create your content, maybe take 1 or 2 days to create your content for like that week, or maybe for 2 weeks in advance. I think the big thing as well is just inspiration, because I did hear something about I don't really know what to create, but look at what other people are doing. You know what I'm saying? Look at people in your field, in your industry. What are they doing? What kind of content are they creating? And see how you can adapt that for yourself as well. It's not like the worst thing to look at, what's actually working out there, because that will also help your business. But make sure you personalize it as well. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Sadly, we are running out of time, so I've got one more question for you, Aviwe, and then we do need to wrap it up so we can hear from the rest of the amazing guests that we have today. So the question is to Aviwe: how do you charge or price for helping a business with their online presence or running their social media pages? What is a fair amount to charge a small business to help build their online presence?
I think that's a really good question. And I think for me, because I'm not someone who actually is in this space where I'm helping small businesses personally as a digital marketer to run their businesses. But I do know that there are people who do this, and it's always like that tricky kind of question, because people are like, okay, but like, what if that business doesn't have like enough money? What if they're like, you know, only starting out, like where do I start? So I think for you, obviously you need to determine as yourself, as a digital marketer, first of all, are you a beginner, or are you like, have you been in the space for a while? If you're a beginner, I think there is room to negotiate, but always think about it in that way, that like what is actually fair for you, right? And also for the business, considering how much that business might make, what's their reach already on social media. So it's a conversation you actually have to have with the business owner as well, in terms of like, okay, cool, I'm a digital marketer, and maybe you don't want to run their campaign, maybe you don't want to like run their day-to-day, maybe you just want to come up with a strategy or a campaign. I think that's always easier, because then you can be like, okay, cool, I can create a campaign for you, I can create like a strategy on this is what you have to do, then they can execute it. Then you can be like, for this specific strategy, I can charge you, I don't know, I don't want to say a specific amount, but I can charge you X amount for this campaign, for this strategy. And then obviously then bring that forth to the business owner, and they decide, but okay, no, it's too high, or can you know it's too low. But ultimately also know that don't reduce your price too much, in terms of like, because sometimes we feel like we're always overpricing, but also know your worth and know what you're actually bringing to the table, because I think that helps. You need to have confidence in whatever it is that you bring to the table. So yeah, that's I won't say an amount, to be honest, I really won't, because these are conversations I've even had with my peers, and it's always it's always like a you know, like a touch and go. That's what they call it, touch and go type of thing. But I would advise that if you are planning to approach a business, then come up with a package for yourself, and also look at other companies, compare how much they are charging, you know, and see where you want to kind of, you know, fit in that gap. So I hope that answers your question, even though there were no figures mentioned in that.
So I mean, it's the importance of just like doing the research, how they are pricing, but also just really there is some of the challenges I found was managing customer relationships. A lot of the time,
Good afternoon, everybody. It seems like we're having a delay with Q's internet. Can we just give her about 10 seconds? And then if not, Vuyoletu, you can take over.
Hello, am I, is my network broken? Hello, ladies, can you still hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, all right. The technical gremlins are doing their thing, but
and you were saying something so good, Q.
It's okay, it's okay. The haters. Advice on young line, and we did and tools. Able to hear me?
I can't hear you, Q.
All right, I think I'm going to hand back to Yogesh. Has been shared already.
Well, I think our technical gremlins definitely had a way with us with these past two sessions, but a huge thank you to Kagaza and her beautiful panelists, brilliant and bold young people using their youth voices, Lebogang Litsape, Aviwe Komsana, as well as Asanda and Akona, Kom. This was such a brilliant discussion on what you can use with the tools that you have and the technologies that you have as well to really create something out of the digital economy, as well as alluding to the currency, the digital currency, and how it can translate to opportunities and of course, those monetary opportunities and the social capital that you can use to definitely accompany that. We now will break away for a brief 5 minutes and give you an opportunity to stretch your legs and recharge. Before we do that, our team is telling me that they are ready to announce our Facebook Africa winners, giving away 5 $100 Facebook ad credits vouchers to 5 young people who do have businesses on a Facebook platform. And our winners in no particular order are Rorisang Beja, Kifilwe Likabe, Nomvuyo Ngele, Percy Chipulu Ngwandwe, and Zubeida Ahmad. A huge congratulations to our winners and a reminder to please stay on the line so that our team can reach out to you. We will be back in exactly 5 minutes. See you then. Welcome back to the Youth Skills Digital Forum, proudly brought to you by Digify Africa in partnership with Facebook. Can you believe it? We are almost towards the end of the forum, and we're now crossing over to our special guest, TV personality, media entrepreneur, and founder of Art of Superwoman, Olwethu Lishabane, as she delivers an address entitled Creating Economic Opportunity Through Digital Economy. Olwethu, over to you.
Hello. Am I? Okay. Hope everybody's well and you can hear me. Am I audible? Am I audible? I'm fine. I hope everybody can hear me. Okay, cool. I'm going to be sharing my screen now. Let me just figure this out and all this tech stuff out. Why can't I? Okay. This is like technology. Okay. I think I should be able to share now. Yay. Okay, there we go. Can everybody see the presentation that I'm presenting? Awesome, yay. Okay, so I'm Olwethu Lishabane, and I started the brand as well as the platform called Art of Superwoman, which is an online store. It's a blog. It's also, I mean, I'll basically take you through the story and I'll tell you how my journey went and all about how we were founded. I am a mom of 3 boys. I'm a homemaker. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a woman empowerment advocate. I'm a, I wouldn't say motivational speaker, but I'm a speaker. I'm an MC. So yeah, I'll take you through my journey as how I used platforms like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and all other digital platforms to grow my brand. Shifting things around here so that I can see better. Perfect. So I am a content creator and producer. I've got the Art of Superwoman store, which is a blog. And let me tell you a little bit about my story and how I came to found Art of Superwoman over 9 years ago in 2013. So it wasn't initially called Art of Superwoman. I was one of those girls that would kind of post anything and everything on Tumblr. Back when Tumblr was like the blog platform that we all used, and we shared stuff and we'd share content on. So I'd post on Tumblr and kind of post my thoughts, and we had created a community on Tumblr, myself and a few people from all across the world, people that I don't know and I don't think I'll ever know. So this was kind of fun to do back when blogging was just plain blogging and sharing your thoughts, sharing what's on your mind, and kind of just tossing things out there to see who relates to it. And then it kind of just naturally evolved. The blog economy kind of just took over for a little while, where we would create these communities online of people that would just share the same thoughts, or just kind of follow your blog to hear what you were thinking, and then you'd follow their blog and hear what they were thinking. And then Art of Superwoman kind of was founded from there. I used a platform which is WordPress to create Art of Superwoman formally as a website. You know, I got the domain, and then I used backend like WordPress to be able to then build and develop the website. Wasn't so amazing and so pretty to start off with, because I mean, WordPress just kind of lets you use their template to do anything and everything. So I used then WordPress to kind of develop the platform and to grow my thoughts and ideas and to share those. Mostly what I would kind of blog about or have conversations about were things such as, I mean, I got married at a very young age. By 21, I was married with my first child, 23, second child. And it was one of those where I went through a phase where I had 2 under 2. And anyone who has 2 under 2, and also at a young age, will know kind of the challenges that you have around that time. You're managing home, you're managing a career, you're managing these 2 toddlers. It was a complete mess. So it was kind of one of those situations where I was trying to figure out, am I on my own on this? And I figured that actually I am not on my own. There's a whole lot of other women going through the most and trying to balance a career, a life, family, their wellness along this journey, having been personally diagnosed with postpartum depression as well. I was like, I'm not on my own. There is a community of women out there that really do relate to this. And then I was already on Facebook at the time, but I wasn't on Instagram. My husband was on Instagram, and he was like, it would be amazing if you would kind of start your own Instagram page. And I was like, nah. Back then, I just felt like Instagram is all about sharing pretty pictures and like really just like rocking your designer wear. I don't think people want to really see my life. And I mean, he nudged me in the direction, and I ended up sharing a little bit about myself on Instagram. And I was shocked to find that a lot of people actually related, and they related to, you know, this family, the well-being, the DIY enthusiast that I am. And then I started creating conversations because I felt as though people trust then the conversation, and then they, you know, you kind of capture a little bit of the conversation on my social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram, and then people would want more, and then they'd go onto my blog. So we then started creating these lifestyle conversations, finance conversations, dig into the emotional and the psychological aspect of things that would relate to the modern day woman who is a career aspiring mom and wife. And then I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I started founding these platforms and these multiple digital media platforms and entities. And because I had a background as well in terms of digital strategy and creative, and I had a strategic background as well. So as I started sharing and started being a lot more open about my experiences, as well as creating these platforms, I started getting profiled. So what then I would find is somebody would reach out after having read a blog of mine and say, hey, would you like to discuss this on Power FM today? Would you like to discuss this on 702? We see you've actually spoken about having nanny issues or struggling with nanny dynamic in your life. Do you want to elaborate on this conversation on a radio platform, or can we share or kind of borrow your blog post to share on this news article that we have, or can we reference you? And not only did that bring me more social media followers, but that also brought a lot more traction onto my onto Artist Superwoman, which is my platform, which then started creating this, I want to say believability, but it started creating people trusting what I had to say because it had been shared on platforms. So what we then started doing, because we realized that we're gaining a lot more audience, a lot more people are coming onto our platforms, we then started developing into, you know, kind of, let's formalize this. Let's create more platforms, which I'll touch on a lot later. And also, how about we bring in more expert opinions, not just Oluwato's opinion on a lot of these blog posts, because a lot more women are coming into the platform. Not only do they want to hear my thoughts and my ideas on things, but they actually want to be able to hear from the experts, the psychologists. And that's where we then started moving and kind of getting that nudge towards creating more sustainable platforms. So brands then started trusting us. We were trusted by a lot of reputable brands to be able to deliver certain messages. So these are some of the brands that I've worked with and I've created a relationship with. So they would then say, we'd like to partner with you on creating conversations around motherhood, around wellness, around parenting, around raising children, around toddlers' life, around nutrition. So we then partnered with some brands to be able to just communicate some of these. I mean, I'll just give you an example. Recently, we just renovated our home, and in our renovation process, a brand partnered with us. And then along that process, a telecoms company partnered with us because one of the things that is very necessary and was necessary during lockdown and beyond lockdown and in the renovation journey is connectivity. So it kind of became a fluid kind of partnership. And also because we'd already created the platform, we'd already created the conversations, and we were already creating the content online and curating that content. So just a little bit of a track record in terms of creating the content. So in 2016, I started talking about certain, so there's a few pillars. Let me rather take a few steps back. There's a few pillars to how we structure our content on our platforms. On Mondays, we focus on parenting. On Tuesdays, we focus on careers. On Wednesdays, we focus on wellness. On Thursdays, we focus on womanomics/finances, but we call it womanomics because we want to center finances around women. So we want to bring women back into the economy because we are so pivotal to the economy, but it's important that we switch on that light and realize how important we are to economic growth in this country. On Fridays, we focus on relationships. Saturdays, we focus on reviews, especially book reviews, because we want to be able to create a culture of reading in our spaces, in our homes, and in our families. Our whole ethos and our whole kind of founding and grounding as Art of Support Okay, am I audible? We're back. Sorry, load shedding. Yeah, guys, that's the realities of the country we're in. But yeah, if we don't laugh and giggle about it, we will cry. So it is what it is. Let's keep it moving. So I'll track back. So the ethos really, and the founding ethos of our company and the founding ethos of our platform was really centered around women and creating wholesome women and a woman that knows what she wants, a woman that thrives in the space that she's in, a woman who's happy career-wise and really just is fulfilled in every aspect of her life. She's able to be a great mother. She's able to give so much back to her family. She's able to be an amazing partner. She's able to also kind of tackle her finances better and have a better outlook at life. So that really was what pushed us to say, and it came from a personal experience too, because I struggled a lot with parenting. I didn't just wake up one day and become a conscious parent, become a conscious mother. It took a lot of work and it took a lot of support and it took a lot of communicating as to what do I need from my partner? What do I need in terms of my career? What do I need? And what kind of tools do I need financially to be able to thrive? And kind of books do I need to read? So these are really the things that we kind of said, how many more women need this? And how should we be delivering the messaging? So I'll use an example. Let's drill down on womanomics. Womanomics is one of our pillars. 2016, we started talking about young women and our finances. And this then is the pillar of Womanomics. 2018, we said, when President Cyril Ramaphosa delivered his Tumamina speech, there was something that I felt as though was not being addressed adequately in his speech about women, centered around women, which we now know where we're at with that, but I won't go there. But I wrote an open letter to the president to really address some of the core issues of what women need, which was centered around our Womanomics as well. And then we developed this kind of conversation on, you know what? If we understand what we need, how do we then kind of develop the tools that we need as Black career women or as women generally in order for us to be able to grow, to become, and to thrive in terms of our careers. Is it not shared? It says sharing here. My presentation not? Okay, I'll stop sharing and I'll reshare again. Okay. Okay. So that was really the timeline. So, like I mentioned earlier, the Art of Superwoman blog was founded in 2013, and that's really just kind of what we're looking like right now. And that's we redid it over a couple of years, and we relaunched this new look website in 2020, which was last year. So I'm going back. So another pivotal example of, I'm using the case study of Womanomics. So when we were really developing on how do we kind of grow this idea and these ideals of what Womanomics is and how we want to be able to take Womanomics out there, I developed something called Womanhood Wednesdays in 2018, where I would ask women to tag me on Wednesdays. Really tag me on your product, tag me in your business, tag me if you're looking for a job or an opportunity, and we'd call it Womanhood Wednesdays. And I will share that onto my platforms. Let's see what opportunities come of it. So this was around 2018, and we'd have a lot of women, I'd have a lot of women really share what they need, share their businesses, and this was greatly successful. To say the least. So the natural evolution is that this is getting a lot, because not only was I getting all these women sharing their products, sharing their businesses, sharing what opportunities they're looking for out there, but I'd get a lot of products sent to me. So there's only so much I can actually have in my home, right? So what then it told us, 2020, we then evolved into a marketplace. So Art of Superwoman shop was opened, shop.artofsuperwoman.com in 2020. This houses a lot of brands that are women-owned brands. And what this does is we're able to be a marketplace that takes the brands, products from the brands and the brand owners and links them to the customer. Not only that, we then, because we had created this amazing community of women already, not just on Olwethu Lishabane's Instagram and Facebook pages, but also we created a platform, Art of Superwoman, which had its own mailing list, own newsletters, own Facebook and Instagram pages, where people solely were looking for that kind of content. We were able to bring these products and give them exposure to our network, as well as our database of not just women, families, and family-centered consumers. And what it also did is these are products that are tried, tested, and loved by me, that I'm able to also say, I advocate for these products, I've used these products, I love these products, and you can trust the fact that you will get what you're being promised. So this is really how, to show you the kind of stats and the kind of traction this has gotten. We started and we launched Art of Superwoman shop in July 2020. So you can literally see a graph of how it took off, kind of the growth and the trajectory of it. And you can also see the numbers from July 2020 of how many sessions, how many visitors we've had on the store, and how many, the kind of conversions that we've had. Just under 12,000 unique visitors within the first month of launch in 2020, in July. By the end of 2020, we'd had over 40,000 sessions on the retail platform. But to date, we've had about 21, this year to date, we've had about 21,000 visitors to the site. I think these actually were last updated at the end of February, if I'm correct. Yeah, these were numbers as of end February. So brands listed on the Art of Superwoman report uptake, they actually report the fact that they have personal uptakes from the promotions that we have on our Art of Superwoman, as well as my own Instagram and Facebook account at Olwethu. So it's not only to the benefit of the brands and my platforms that we've created, but also this benefits the brands themselves and kind of amplifies and gives some sort of credibility and uplift for the brands themselves to say, Olwethu advocates for us, Art of Superwoman advocates for us, therefore we're trusted, and they themselves end up with a beautiful overflow of customers and reputability. So I'll give you an example. What separates us from any other e-commerce platform or directory, for example? So content is extremely important. If there's anything that you take away today, it is that content fuels the commerce. The previous speakers and the previous panels spoke and touched on this. You need to be able to create content that speaks back to what you are selling and pre-plan your content in such a way that people understand what you're selling, people understand where to find it, people understand the kind of conversion that needs to be flipped. So this is a beautiful example. At quarter past, this is not at quarter past because it was 10 hours before. On this morning, I had posted about this particular product that we have on the Art of Superwoman store, which is called Beat Kavas, which is one of my favorite products. So I posted about this at 10 o'clock that morning. By 1 p.m., this was a kind of conversion that we would receive on the platform. So people then see that product, they know where to click, they know where to shop, then we have a conversion. So if you are not focused on ensuring a seamless kind of train of how your customer needs to go from seeing the product, your advocacy on the product, where to buy it, where they can convert, there's something you're not doing right. Kind of see yourself in the place of your customer. What are you trying to sell me? What are you trying to talk to me about? How do you want me to actually, to process or to move through the sales channel? And this can be seamlessly done on just one platform, Instagram, because they click through and they go straight onto your online store and convert. So we believe that, I mean, another example, content creating or content fueling commerce is the new followers gained on Art of Superwoman and the brand. So I'll remove myself and I'll call myself Olwethu the influencer, for example. Olwethu posts a swimsuit that is sold on Art of Superwoman that is made by Gugu Intimates. I posted this particular swimsuit within an hour, 3,800 likes. Gugu Intimates is tagged. Gugu Intimates gets that many followers. Art of Superwoman gets that many followers as well. So people know where to look. People know where to find the product as well. They can shop it on Art of Superwoman. They can find it on Gugu Intimates. It's a mutually beneficial relationship between Gugu Intimates, Art of Superwoman, with Olwethu being the influencer. I think it also comes back to selecting the kind of, if you have a brand or you want to partner with influencers, selecting the kind of influencers where you understand what kind of messaging you're looking for from them, how you would like them to convert as well. The lifestyle endorsement approach to sales driving content extends even further. So not only were we able to create the Art of Superwoman platform, but leverage my own personal following of, not sure where I'm at right now, I think it's just over 300,000, I think, on social media. But also we've kind of extended into, these kids need to work. so my boys themselves have their own Instagram page. We have a platform called The Sit Down. I spoke earlier about platforms that you create from things that you see resonate with people. People loved the conversations that I created on social media. So we put them into video form. The Sit Down with Olwethu Lishabane is also available on Art of Superwoman platform, where this is video form content talking about all these dynamics as well. Parenting, careers, wellness, womanomics, relationships, reviews, all sitting on video form on the platform, as well as on all podcasting platforms. So really, to kind of round up this conversation, it is so important that we look at digital in kind of a holistic way of how do we create community? And I think if we don't look at it from content does create the commerce, but at the center of where where it intersects, content creates community and converts it into commerce. So it's important as you look at the things that you're developing, and I'll use another example. The Mother of All Baby Showers was the baby shower we hosted during the lockdown. We knew and we could see that moms couldn't have baby showers. Moms couldn't really kind of socialize with their people. Moms couldn't receive the love that we usually give to a lot of mothers. There was a conversation that I personally had with a mom in a change room after the lockdown. Lockdown had ended. We went out to the spa with my husband. I was in the change room at the spa, and this mom was there, and I was like, oh, this is so necessary. Oh my gosh, it's been such a long lockdown. And she was like, dude, I gave birth during this lockdown. I was like, hectic. She's like, I didn't know how to breastfeed. Nobody could help me on how to breastfeed. I didn't have the skills on what to do. This is my first baby. The nurses also keep their distance at the hospital. And this is a completely different dynamic when it comes to how I gave birth, for example. There's like 5 nurses helping you back then before COVID. We call it BC now. There's 5 nurses helping you on how to breastfeed, how to hold the baby. Things are completely different now. What are mothers needing now? What is the community around you needing now of the services that you have? I'm a certified doula myself, so I knew mothers that are first-time mothers, or maybe even second-time mothers, because it's easy to forget how to do things. They need certain skills. They need certain encouragement. They need love. They need gifts. So brands came together and partnered with us on creating the Mother of All Baby Showers and kind of creating a space and a safe space for our mothers to be able to be loved, to receive gifts, and also to just share certain skills and tools, like how do you look after your baby? What do you do? Where do you reach out? Who do you reach out to during this process? Especially online and on digital, partnered with brands like Grow Great, which is all about the first 1,000 days of a child's life and helping pregnant mothers, helping mothers that are new into introducing them into the world of this is now motherhood and this is what it looks like and these are the realities. So really creating those communities and ensuring that the community is nurtured, and then developing into and flipping it into commerce and being able to know that you're trusted in these spaces. We're going to be launching a platform called Taiki very soon. And Taiki is something that's very dear to my heart. Because we've already developed Art of Superwoman store and the Art of Superwoman online shop, we're now looking into creating a marketplace for every other brand or brand out there that is looking to grow and develop and to be nurtured and to have the right skills on not just converting into commerce, but how do we create the right community for your brand? How do you also nurture and develop that brand? What kind of tools and tool sets do I need to be able to get out there, to win, to make money? Because that's really what drives this place and this economy. And also just understanding how to relate to your customer base, because sometimes you have an amazing product, you have an amazing brand, but you don't know how to kind of structure your messaging. You don't know what platforms to use. You don't know how to leverage the platforms that we have, such as Facebook and Instagram, as well as WhatsApp. And you don't know how to really send out your messaging correctly. So Taiki is there.
Unfortunately, we are going to have to ask for you to wrap it in 10 seconds. We are running a little bit.
I'm basically done. I'm basically done. So yeah, that is really all that. That's the net of what I'm trying to really deliver to you. In that, use digital for digital and know how to use it. And again, content. Creating the community can flip it into commerce. Reach out to the people out there that are able to offer you the tools and offer you the resources. I heard earlier about how IAB mentioned a few platforms in which you can use to upskill yourself. use them and really grow. There's endless opportunities within the digital space to be able to make that money and to convert yourself into something bigger. Thank you.
Brilliant. Turning community into commerce and the key contributions on economic opportunity at the digital environment, and having the right digital environment can definitely offer you, as well as the USP and the importance thereof of the e-commerce brand positioning. That was Olwethu Lishabane, ladies and gentlemen, a TV personality, media entrepreneur, and the founder of Art of Superwomen. And speaking of Art of Superwomen, we do have another third winner of the 1,000 Rand voucher going to Boikanyo Tame. Huge congratulations to you, and we hope you do enjoy your gift from the Family and Life online store. We have a Blitz chat coming up with Digify Pro alumni. And when I say Blitz chat, I mean 5 minutes, moderated by Menzi Mhlongo. The Digify Pro cross over to Menzi as he engages with 2 alumni from Digify Pro. Enjoy this short video.
Welcome to the Facebook and Digify Africa Youth Digital Skills Forum in this Youth Month of 2021. My name is Luleka Mosi, and I'm the head of projects at Digify Africa. Digify Pro, our award-winning BookBox 2017 and 2019 program for best contribution to transformation in the digital industry. This program has been supported by Facebook since 2018 in Nigeria, and then moved to South Africa and Kenya in 2019. To date, we have trained, graduated, and started over 400 digital careers for young people between the ages of 18 and 30. You will now meet our 2021 cohorts in South Africa 14.0, Nigeria 9.0, and Kenya 4.0.
Thanks so much, Violetto. Great pleasure to host the Fireside Chat. And greetings to all our viewers. My name is Menzi Mhlongo, Project Manager of Digify Pro. For context, this is how the Fireside Chat will go. I have a handful of questions, numbered from 1 to 10. Our alumni will choose a number. I will read them the question that correlates with the chosen number. So again, I'm not by myself. I'm joined by our pro graduates. Joining me is Mpulekeng Mashweshwe, a digital project manager, entrepreneur, natural hair, and beauty enthusiast. Alongside him is Philani Mokoena, a digital marketer, actor, singer, dancer, and presenter. Welcome, Mpulekeng and Philani.
Hi, Menzi. Good to be here.
So Mpulekeng, I'm going to go with you. We are pressed for time, so I'm going to keep it moving and fast and quick. So Mpulekeng, choose a number.
8.
8. All right. What was life after pro?
Life after pro was I got an internship immediately afterwards, Digify Africa, and I was with them for 6 months, and now I am with Wonderman Thompson.
Whoop, whoop. All right, Philani, over to you. Number?
7.
7. Yeah. Perfect. So tell me, what did you hope to achieve after graduating with your digital marketing certificate and your Facebook Blueprint certification?
First and foremost, thank you for this opportunity. Digify has really been monumental in my career journey. So everything that I've acquired, I'm currently using now, which is exciting. So just like Mpolikeng, I've recently joined Wonderful Thompson as one of their community managers. So that's very exciting. So yeah, just sheer excellence throughout, and that's where we're at.
Lovely. I love to see you guys shining. Mpolikeng, choose a number.
2.
Number 2. What's a typical week like at Digify Pro?
8. It's stressful. Stressful. Wow. Lots of group work. Really exciting, really informative. You get to learn a lot from your peers. You meet a lot of creative, lots of guidance from people like yourself, Menzi, and the other trainers on the course. But it's a lot to take in, very stressful. But it's a good stressful because it really does prepare you for agency life.
Well, there's growth through challenges. Philani, choose a number.
10.
Number 10. What's the hashtag for this event? Trick question.
Hashtag YSTF.
Oh, you're paying attention.
Look at you.
Right. Mpolikeng, over to you.
5.
Number 5. What's the most challenging experience through Digify Pro?
Working in a group. I think, yeah, group work, guys, all the time. It's always very challenging. You always have people that are not pulling their weight, and you kind of just need to find a way around it, just to make sure that at the end of the day, you all deliver, you all learn, and you all grow.
Superb. Philani, over to you.
I'll go with 1.
Number 1. Right. So how did you know about Digify Africa and Digify Pro specifically?
So I had graduated during a pandemic, so never had the experience of going to the university space, being inside a gown. So what that meant was that I had to like really think on the spot and find community. So in the process of doing that, I was just browsing online because that's where I spend most of my time, looking for opportunities. And I accidentally, or by luck, bumped into Digify Africa, clicked on the page. I was like, oh, they're advertising this program and it's free. Oh, actually, that's lovely. And they actually do help young people like myself to get jobs. I applied, went through an interview process, and the rest is history.
Right. I encourage our viewers to follow the Digify SA_Pro on Facebook and Instagram. Those are our new pages for Digify Pro. Mpolikeng, your number?
3.
Number 3. Biggest highlight during Pro?
I did a campaign for Nando's. Oh, that was so cool. My group did a campaign for Nando's. We didn't win, but I think one of our posts that we did for them, they actually really, really liked. And yeah, that was super cool.
That's on your portfolio. Wow. Right. Last question. Number
6.
Number 6. What was your favorite module, and are you using it currently, putting it into practice with your work?
Favorite module? I mean, it was spoiled for choice because we have amazing lecturers and facilitators. But I would go with community management because it's in line with what I'm doing right now, and really just creating exciting, how can I put this? Like just creating a proper image for a brand. And I'm just really interested in that and building community around that. So community management has really just been the most fun for me.
Super. Exciting to also note that our current cohort will be graduating with the community management badge from Facebook. Well, that's a wrap from me and our lovely alumni, Mpolikeng and Philani. And thanks to the viewers, and over to you, Violetu.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Menzi, for that brilliant moderation of the fireside chat. And I think it's also just brilliant to see the incredible relevance of the skills that one would get from the Digify Pro program, and as well as highlighted the skills mentioned earlier on by Joey from the IAB South Africa report. And a huge thank you to you, Menzi, the Digify Pro project manager at Digify Africa, for our fireside chat with our Digify Pro alumni, Philani Mukwenda and Mpolikeng Mshweshwe. We are almost at the end of our program, but not before we announce our final winner of the 1,000 Rand Art of Superwoman voucher, Rolene Nair. Congratulations to you, Rolene, and we hope that have truly made your Youth Month one to remember. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the Youth Skills Digify Digital Forum, and to officially close, we welcome Simbo Olatoregun, the Policy Programs Manager for Africa at Facebook.
Amazing. Thank you, Viowetu. You've done such an amazing job today. You've turned potential crisis into opportunity several times. So thank you for handling the sessions so beautifully and professionally. So I'm going to keep this very short because I know that we've gone significantly over time. My name is Simbo. I am based in Lagos, Nigeria, and I am the Policy Programs Manager for Africa for Facebook. I'd like to thank all our speakers for today, Kasim, Nomunde, Joey, and Owetu. Thank you for the time that you have committed. We really appreciate it. Q and her crew, Aviwe, Akona, and Lebo. I really enjoyed the session. You know, it was very interactive, and I genuinely enjoyed the tidbits and the knowledge that you were dropping. Mainzi and team, all the Digify alumni team that's here representing today. We're grateful for the time. We don't take it for granted at all. And we're glad that you decided to commit this morning to us. To all the attendees, both on Zoom and Facebook, thank you and do have an amazing day. Over to you, Wilson.
Simbo, indeed, an invigorating past 2 hours. It's been harnessing insights, sharing stories, and the opportunities that the currency of digital has, and how we could all employ the strategies for our careers, communities, and businesses. And before I leave, I have been informed that one more special 1,000 Rand voucher from the Art of Superwoman online store will be given to Nguli Parole Malunga for your excellent engagement. Thank you so much for engaging with us. Congratulations to you and to all our winners today. Thank you for amplifying the conversation and engaging. And to our speakers, an incredible team, for your invaluable contribution to make this production a success through the technical brilliance, the load shedding, the brilliant engagement. Thank you for joining us from Zambia tonight. Gentlemen, this has been a live broadcast of the Youth Skills Digital Forum brought to you by Digify Africa in partnership with Facebook. I am Violetu Debese. Goodbye. Thank you.